Good afternoon, all of my friends and our beloved lecturers. So we are from second group that today we are going to present about modes of poetry lyrics and modes of poetry and narratives and dramatic. So before we are going to start the presentations, let me say panganjali umat first, Swastiastu, and introduce our member groups. So the first one is I am Nikadek Malapatma, and the second one is Niputu Surya Utami Dewi, and the third one is Nikomang Mianawati, and the fourth one is Nikade Ani Dianawati. Okay, so for these presentations, we are going to present about modes of poetry lyrics and modes of poetry narratives and dramatic. There are four important things for these sessions. There are definitions, genre, types, and examples. As I said before, there are three main genres of the modes of poetry. The first one is about lyric poetry, and the second one is about narrative poetry, and the third one is about dramatic poetry. Lyric of poetry. What is the lyric of poetry? Lyric is a collection of verse and chorus making up complete song or short and non-narrative poems. A lyric uses a single speaker who expresses personal emotions or thoughts. Lyric poems, which are often popular for their musical quality and rhythms, are pleasing to hear ear and are easily put to music. Then the term lyric originates from the Greek word lyre, which is an instrument used by the Grecians to play when reading a poem. Lyrical poets demonstrate specific moods and emotions through words. Such moods express a range of emotions from extreme to nebulous about life, love, death, or the other expressions in our life. Read on to learn more about the lyric in the literatures. Okay, about the types of lyrics will present by my friend Surya Utami Dewi.
Om Swastiastu, my name is Niputu Surya Utami Dewi, and I will continue the presentation about the types of poetry lyric. About the types of lyric poetry, there are 5 types. The first one is elegy. An elegy is mournful, sad, and melancholic form or song that expresses sorrow for someone who has been lost or died. Originally, it followed a structure using a meter alternating 6-foot and 5-foot line. However, modern elegies doesn't follow such a pattern, though the mood of the form remains the same. The second one is ode. An ode is a lyric form that expresses intense feelings such as love, respect, or praise for someone or something. Like an elegy, an ode doesn't follow any strict format or structure, though it uses a reference or repeat line. It is usually longer than other lyrical forms and focus on positive moods of life. The third one is sonnet. A sonnet uses 14 lines and follow iambic pentameter with 5 pairs of accent and an accentable syllable. The structure of a sonnet with a predetermined syllable and rhythm scheme makes it flow off and tongue of readers in a way similar way to a song on the radio. And the last one is occasional poetry. Poetry read occasional poetry for specific occasions such as wedding, anniversary, birthday, victories, and dedication. And this is the one of the example of lyric poetry. It is sonnet. It is from Elizabeth Barrett Brownis. The title is How Do I Love Thee. This is the one of the famous form, and she focused on the theme of language and uses figurative language to express its immeasurability.
Okay, now I will continue. The presentation is about modes of poetry, that is narrative. A narrative poems tell a story, also known as epic poetry. Narrative poetry is often set to music as ballads. Narrative poetry are usually of human interest and include epics or long stories. Examples of poetry in this category include: the first one is allegory. Allegory is a narrative poems that use an extant metaphor to make a point. And the second one is ballad. Ballad is a narrative poetry set to music. The third one is burlesque. Burlesque is a mock epic poem that tells an ordinary story in a melodramatic way. And the last part is epic. Epic is a lengthy poem that tells a story of heroic adventures. If the story changes over the course of the poems, it's a narrative poem. The rhyme, theme, and matter may change between narrative poems, but all narrative poems tells a story from the perspective of a third-person narrator. And now I will give you an example about narrative poetry, and the title is The Odyssey.
Okay, the next is about dramatic. So the second mode of poetry is dramatic poetry. Dramatic poetry or dramatic monologue is meant to be spoken or acted. Dramatic poetry is also tells a story like the narrative one. Many dramatic poems appear as monologue and soliloquy. So monologue is speech that given by a character to another character or to the audience, while the soliloquy is a speech that given by a character to herself or to himself. So dramatic poetry is written from the perspective of a character in the story, and dramatic poetry tends to lead with a main character entering the scene and speaking. So I will show you the examples of dramatic poetry. So you can pause this video for a while and read the examples. Okay, that's all our explanation about the modes of poetry: lyric, narrative, and dramatic. I hope you can understanding the material easily through this video. Thank you for watching, and I close with Parama Santi. Om Santi, Santi, Santi.